Hello, everybody. Thank you, VARINDIA, for giving us the opportunity to present today in front of such dignitaries. That introduction did sound like ChatGPT somewhat to me. So, yeah, no. So I'm from InterSources. I've been into this industry for quite a while now, and so presenting InterSources. InterSources started its operations in 2007, and that was in the United States. And we have been working with basically 4 different lines of businesses. We have data analytics, cybersecurity, cloud services, as well as professional services. In professional services, we are into staff augmentation as well as staffing. These are some of the clients that we work for in all of these areas of expertise. We also do a lot of work with the government sector, in public sector, primarily in the United States of America. We are now starting to make headway into the Indian industries and Indian market as well. The product that I'm actually going to talk about today is called Kasm Workspaces. Now, we have heard a lot of things about data privacy as well as cybersecurity, and how cybersecurity is always under threat. Now, the topic in itself being emerging technologies and how to navigate the frontiers of the same. As much as a boon it is, emerging technologies can also be a bane. Nobody better understands that than the cybersecurity community. How AI is now the biggest thing that is creating a lot of opportunity on building new solutions and building new technologies based on AI. Similarly, it is now kind of a double-edged sword, which not just enables people to have better capabilities, but also enables threat actors to create solutions that are very, very difficult to manage. Now, what is Kasm Workspaces? The Kasm Workspaces basically is a container streaming platform, which essentially means that it creates an air-gapped environment between your internal network as well as the external network. And I'm going to explain you how that happens, and I've also prepared a small demo to be presented today to show the inner workings of this solution. And it's a very, very innovative way of protecting your intellectual property. Talking of intellectual property, for any organization, irrespective of what their field of expertise is, your intellectual property is your biggest asset. And any kind of a compromise of your intellectual property basically can be very, very detrimental to an organization. Now, how do you protect your intellectual property? Now, for different industries, it can be different things. For a software development organization, your biggest asset would be your code. For a manufacturing company, would be your designs, for a manufacturing industry that is creating routers and switches or firewalls, your MIBs, your information management base, your signatures that you create for your firewalls, all of those things are your intellectual property. And theft of any such thing could be extremely detrimental. Now, I'm going to show how that is something that can be protected. Now, this solution basically sits between the user as well as the server, right? And it containerizes the workload that you want to execute. Now, think about this way. You have a developer that is working on a code using Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio. Now, whenever they are working on any kind of code, every developer that is using a laptop has a piece of code on their laptop, on your local laptop. You have your Git branches, you have all your code there, your feature updates, and so on and so forth. And that code has already been checked out onto your local laptop, right? Now, what happens if that local laptop is stolen, or that laptop is with a disgruntled employee, it is a very, very tricky situation. You have, that the possibility of theft of code is very, very high in that case. So what we do, what is done in this case is that VS Code is containerized, and that container is working, is running in an isolated environment. All that the user is doing is getting rendered user interface onto their local machine, which means there is no code residing on your local laptops. That is just one example. Now think of it from a different use case point of view. If you have, most of your organizations would have a SOC environment, right? You would have your cybersecurity teams, you would have threat investigators, you would have threat hunters, and so on. Now, one of the most miscreant things that happen in cybersecurity is phishing emails, right? So, phishing emails that get flagged to your IT guys, they need to investigate, right? Or there is a malware. Now, if you have a malware, you have to reverse engineer it, or you need to detonate it in order to get a signature out of it, which you're going to use in your SIM tool, which is your security information management system, right? So you will have that signature in your SIM tool in order to match traffic patterns and then identify those things. It is not easy, and it is not recommended that you detonate a malware within your laptop or within your own internal networks, because that can also compromise your own internal network. That is where an air-gapped system could be, very, very handy. So you can actually fire up a web browser, which is a container and has nothing to do with your local environment, and it is an air-gapped system. You can access your phishing emails. You can click on that, have your Wireshark installed on that container. With confidence, you can actually trace each and every activity that this particular malware or that phishing site is doing, and you can create your own signatures out of it in order to better match those patterns. And this, you can do it with extreme confidence, because it is not going to affect your local network at all. So I'm going to show how this system works, a very, very brief introduction of that system, and I'm going to run a demo for that. So this is the platform that I'm talking about, which is Kasm Workspaces. I'm going to just log into it as the administrator, and I'm going to give you an overview of how this platform works. So as soon as you log in, you are presented with a dashboard, which can give you the entire a kind of a snapshot of whatever is happening in the system, how many active users and how many successful logins there are. This is just a dashboard that gives you the entire matrix of the system. Now, how it integrates with your internal environment is that you create users and assign them to the groups. These groups are basically your workforces and the groups that are locally present on your LDAP, either LDAP or your Active Directory. It also gets integrated with your SAML provider. So you can have it integrated with Okta, you can have it integrated with Azure AD, you can have it integrated with any other basic SAML provider. So once it is integrated, it takes the entire workforce details as to who all are your users, and you can distribute them as per the your groups. And these groups are what is going to be used in order to define the access roles and how they are going to be allowed to interact with the Kasm environment. Now, Kasm is a tool that uses workspaces. As I said earlier, that it is a collection of containers. So a lot of tools that are used on a daily basis have already been containerized as a default value, as a default offering within the system. So if you have a look at it, there are a lot of these tools that are already containerized and easily available for use. This is a small snapshot of all the tools that are available. And it is extremely easy for us to pick and choose what tools we want to make available to your audiences who are your employees. So once you choose which workspace to be provisioned, you simply click on it and just click on the install button. And that is as good as, this is all that you need to do. And it is already provisioned. So just a small example. Edge is being provisioned, and it is hardly a few seconds for that Edge browser as a container to be provisioned. Now, this Edge browser that is being provisioned is a simple container, and it has no interaction with your local environment. So you do not have access to upload anything, download anything. You cannot copy and paste anything. These are the policies that you can implement. And it is up to you whether or not you want to implement these. This is in line with your DLP policies and your information security policy. So that entire bouquet of policies that you need in your organization can be implemented through Kasm Workspaces. So right now, what a lot of organizations will have to do in order to achieve this is to tinker around with your group policies within Active Directory, or you would have to have a mobile device management environment in order to restrict users from using your USB or anything, right? And it is an absolute nightmare for you to navigate the difficulties that bring your own device policy brings to your organization. A lot of organizations nowadays have contractors who bring their own devices. It is not always possible for you to have a laptop available for all of your contractors. Right? So think of it this way. Imagine how much administrative cost you're going to save in auditing each and every contractor's laptop that they are going to bring in order to work for your organization. They may have 10,000 viruses on their laptop. It does not matter anymore. Why? Because it does not have any interaction with the Kasm workspace. All that is being presented is just the user, it is just rendering the user interface to the local laptop, local environment. You are not interacting with them at all, right? So it becomes totally irrelevant whether the device has any kind of vulnerabilities or any kind of threats that are there. Moreover, whatever work they are doing, whatever activities they are doing in the container, it remains in that container itself. You may provision it in such a manner that it has persistent profile, which means if somebody has left their work with a certain file open, when they re-log in, they will still have that file open within that workspace. So even if they close it, they are not going to lose any of their work that is currently in progress. So this is just one of those examples. How do you provision it? Now, there may be a certain workspace, there may be a certain container, a certain tool that may be relevant for certain group of people. It may not be relevant to all of them. So you may have your groups created within the Kasm environment, and you can provision that particular workspace to that particular set of audiences, just like it is being shown here. So Edge was provisioned earlier, and I'm now assigning Edge browser to a certain group of people within a specific group. And the others may not have access to that at all. Now, also within this, there is something called web filters. Now, if you have a set of audiences or a set of workers that you do not want to browse a certain set of sites, or you want to restrict them to a certain set of websites and not to digress, right? So you can actually create this web filter wherein you can list all the sites that are whitelisted in your environment, and apart from those whitelisted sites, they will not be able to browse anything else. So this is one another implementation that I'm going to show in the demo. This is right now the administrative side of things. I'm also going to log in as a developer, and I'm going to show the things that have been done here. Now also there is a provision of branding, which means when you're using this environment, you don't have to live with the Kasm branding. You can have your own website, your own web colors, and you can have your own logos, and you can have a portal that represents your brand, not the one that is by the producers, right? So all that you need to do is made very, very easy. You can have your own identity, and you can use it as a part of this presence. We also have a dynamic storage, which means that you can integrate this with S3. We can also record the entire work that is being done in these sessions, which means that if you have a specific contractor who's working on anything that is very, very sensitive information, you can record the entire session that they are working on. And it can be stored in S3 or any other storage location of your choice. We can integrate with Office 365, it can integrate with Google, it can integrate with S3, it can also do Samba shares. You can have shared storage, you can have dedicated storage based on the profile, the roaming profile of your users. So I am going to, this is where we control all the permissions that you can assign to the users. Now, for example, if you want to restrict all the users from using clipboard in order to copy or paste anything, you can do that to the level where you can assign a policy where from a local machine you cannot copy anything into Kasm, but you can do it the other way around, or you can simply block everything else, right? So it has a very diverse way of implementing this entire solution. You can also totally block the upload and download of any file whatsoever, right? Or you can allow whichever way is required. So that concludes the administrative side of things. Let me show you this in action from a user perspective. Sorry? Yeah, just 2 minutes. So this is the demo from a developer point of view. So I'm logged in as a developer. This is whenever a developer or any other employee logs into the system, this is what they are presented with. These are the tools that have been provisioned for them. You can see, I'm going to launch the restricted version of Chrome. So as soon as this is provisioned, the browser is going to come up. Now this browser is a containerized application. It is working within the container. So any activity that is being done here is restricted to this area only. So in my web filter, I had allowed cisco.com, the site that was that people can browse, that this person can browse, but cannot browse Facebook. Facebook was not the whitelisted one. So the moment anybody tries to do that, they are going to be given access denied, policy implemented. Now, this person is now going to try to copy and paste the information. You can see, and this notepad is a local machine notepad that I've opened. And if I try to do Control V or even right click and choose paste, it is not possible. Nobody can do that. So your code or your all the activity that is happening there, whatever information is exposed to this person is going to be limited to that person. One last thing that I wanted to show is Visual Studio Code. So this is also containerized Visual Studio Code. Now, whatever same applications, the same policies are applied here. You can have a person working on Visual Studio Code with code, and they will never be able to take that code. They will never be able to steal that code and put it in their local machines. Right? You can have a shared folder which is shared across all of your engineers, and have dedicated storage also for people who want to have their own personal work environment specific to their choice of tools that they are using. So this is just about it. As a part of what we are doing here today, I just wanted to offer a 15-day trial to any organization that wants to have a look at it. And if you think that this is a solution that can add value to your organization, we will be more than happy to do a guided tour or offer a 15-day implementation for your organization to test it out. Thank you very much.